More than half a century after Little House on the Prairie touched the hearts of audiences, Walnut Grove remains a place many people still long to return to. But beyond the screen, time has changed the lives of the entire cast. Some are still beloved today, some stepped away from the spotlight, and some now live on only in memory. Today, we'll look back at the then and now journey of the faces who helped create this legendary series. Michael Landon brought to Charles Ingalls the feeling of a father who always tried to keep a light shining for his family amid the hardships of frontier life. Born on October 31, 1936 in New York, he was 37 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. Landon passed away on July 1, 1991 at the age of 54 due to pancreatic cancer. What audiences remember most about Charles was not only his strength, but also the way he always chose kindness and hope, even in the most difficult times. Karen Grassle brought to Caroline Ingalls a sense of peace and security, like a home in the middle of the challenging world of Little House on the Prairie. Born on February 25, 1942 in California, she was 32 years old when the series premiered in 1974. As of 2026, Grassle is 84 years old. Caroline was not the kind of character who was overly loud or dramatic, but it was her gentleness, patience, and quiet strength that made the Ingalls family always feel united and deeply loving. Lindsay Greenbush brought to Carrie Ingalls a sense of innocence and the fragile beauty of childhood amid the hardships of life in Walnut Grove. Born on May 25, 1970 in California, she was only 4 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. As of 2026, Greenbush is 55 years old. Carrie did not often have major storylines or heavy tragedies, but her innocence reminded audiences of what the Ingalls family was always trying to protect: a peaceful home for their children. Sidney Greenbush helped shape Carrie Ingalls into a small symbol of innocence and purity in Little House on the Prairie. Born on May 25, 1970 in California, she was only 4 years old when the series began in 1974, sharing the role of Carrie with her twin sister, Lindsay Greenbush. As of 2026, Sidney is 55 years old. Although Carrie appeared more quietly than many other characters, she still brought a sense of warmth and peace, serving as a reminder that even in the hardest times, childhood is always something worth protecting. Catherine McGregor made Harriet Olsen the kind of character audiences found both irritating and unforgettable. Born on January 12, 1925 in California, she was 49 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. McGregor passed away on November 13, 2018 at the age of 93. With her sharp way of speaking and humorously exaggerated mannerisms, she turned Harriet into a constant source of tension and laughter in Walnut Grove. Yet beneath all the pride and vanity, there was always a hint of loneliness and a deep desire to be recognized. Richard Bull brought to Nels Olson the feeling of a gentle man always trying to preserve kindness amid the chaos of Walnut Grove. Born on June 26, 1924 in Illinois, he was 50 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. Bull passed away on February 3, 2014 at the age of 89. Never loud or overpowering, Nels was remembered for his calm nature, his humorously helpless expressions whenever Harriet caused trouble, and the quiet way he consistently chose to do the right thing even when no one seemed to notice. Jonathan Gilbert brought to Willie Olson the mischievous and clumsy energy that perfectly captured adolescence. Born on April 28, 1967 in California, he was only 6 years old when Little House on the Prairie began in 1974. As of 2026, Gilbert is 58 years old and has largely stayed away from the Hollywood spotlight since the series ended. What made Willie interesting was that audiences were able to watch him gradually mature over the years, growing from a troublesome young boy into someone more thoughtful and kind-hearted. Kevin Hagen brought to Dr. Hiram Baker the feeling of someone the entire town of Walnut Grove could trust in its most difficult moments. Born on April 3, 1928 in Chicago, Illinois, he was 46 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. Hagen passed away on July 9, 2005 at the age of 77. More than just a doctor who treated illnesses, Dr. Baker felt like an emotional anchor for the community, always appearing with calmness and compassion amid the losses and hardships of frontier life. Alison Arngrim turned Nellie Olson into one of the most loved-to-hate characters in classic television history. Born on January 18, 1962, in New York, she was only 12 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. As of 2026, Arngrim is 64 years old. With her signature blonde curls and mischievous performance, she made Nellie seem like a small storm constantly stirring up trouble in Walnut Grove. Yet as the series went on, audiences began to see that beneath the selfishness was a young girl longing for love and attention. Matthew Labourteau brought to Albert Quinn Ingalls the feeling of a boy constantly searching for where he truly belonged. Born on December 8, 1966 in California, he was around 10 years old when he joined the world of Little House on the Prairie. As of 2026, Labourteau is 59 years old. Albert did not only bring lighthearted stories to the series, but also carried some of its deepest pain, mistakes, and longing to be accepted. It was that vulnerability and sincerity that made Albert one of the most emotionally rich characters in the show. Melissa Sue Anderson brought to Mary Ingalls a level of maturity and resilience far beyond the character's young age. Born on September 26, 1962 in California, she was only 11 years old when Little House on the Prairie premiered in 1974. As of 2026, Anderson is 63 years old. Mary's journey of losing her eyesight became one of the most emotional storylines in the series, and the way Anderson portrayed the pain, fear, and eventual acceptance of her fate left a lasting impression on generations of viewers. Even after many decades, Little House on the Prairie still brings the warmth of an old home that has never been forgotten. If this video brought back childhood memories for you, leave a comment about your favorite character, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more nostalgic journeys like this one.